this is a huge moment in AEW. You know, we saw what happened. Does that put a huge target on your back in AEW?
Maybe. You know, I don't worry about it. I'm actually.
Was that a pun?
No, it wasn't a pun.
Was that like?
I mean, for real.
Okay.
No.
So I don't worry about it. You know, it was really interesting to me. Like one of the reasons why I'm here is not to see how good I am. I know I'm good, right? I think everybody knows I'm pretty good, and I'm not cocky about it, right? I've just been around the world. I've been in the ring with the best guys and all that kind of stuff. I want to see how good these guys are, because you can only see so much by watching them, right? I've watched Kenny Omega, and I think, man, like the last time I wrestled him had to have been 2007 or 2008 or something. It's like, man, he looks like he's gotten good. Is he? Is he as good as he looks? When I see Jungle Boy, when I see Darby Allin, when I see all of these people, and I think like, they're good. I wonder how good they are. And that sort of thing excites me. I'm excited by the idea of new and the idea of fresh, and I'm excited by the things that they've built here.
At what point did you know you were going to AEW? Was there a particular thing that you saw like on screen and you're like, I got to be a part of that?
No, you know, honestly, it was an internal battle the whole time, because in my promo, what I said out there, none of that was promo. It was, I loved where I worked before, like I did, and I love the people I work with, you know. But there was never a moment that I was like, now I know. It's just, I kept seeing it, and I kept being like, God, like. So one of the things, and I don't know how many of you are married or have kids, but when you're married and you have kids, like your life becomes like a little bit tame. I love it, but it's a little bit tame. I need one part of my life that's a little bit wild, right? That like, oh man, you see these guys doing these crazy things, and I'm like, oh my God, can I do that? You know what? Hell yes, I can. I don't care. Like I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna show everybody here that what elite really looks like. Like this is what elite looks like. And I'm not. You know, Punk had come in and said like, oh, I want to help the young guys and all that kind of stuff. No, man, I'm going to kick their fucking heads. Can I say that word?
Yeah.
Can I say
in this room, you can. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah.
Daniel, you mentioned in interviews after WrestleMania.
Daniel?
Bryan,
How dare you?
You mentioned in interviews after WrestleMania you felt disconnected walking out on that stage for that main event. Was that connection back tonight?
Yeah, for sure. You know, it was interesting because I don't think it was the first time in my career, but for the first time in a really long time, Tony put me in a trailer. I was hiding in a trailer. And then so I had to go back to the trailer after, and then you know, I talked to my wife and everything. And then I was sitting there and just kind of meditating after, and you can just feel it. Like so many times we just like bypass cool things. And I kept sitting there, and I don't know how many of you meditate, or it's woo-woo bullshit, I know, but whatever. But just feeling like the sensation of it, it still resonated, right? And that's one of the very unique things about pro wrestling, is that you go out there and you feel like for the most part, most of my career, almost every time, I've gone out there and really felt something. And tonight, like it was a feeling that wouldn't stop. Until they came and got me out of the trailer, and then you disconnect from the meditation, and then you're just like, oh, where am I going? Oh, okay, yeah. So now I'm here.
You've mentioned your wife a couple times. Is there any interest from Bree joining you here in AEW possibly, or no?
So, I mean, that would be a very difficult. Like, it was hard for me to come here, right? Like,
sure.
Because I have so many ties within WWE. She's happy there. She has so many business connections there. So, I don't know.
Okay.
AJ.
With all the people in the crowd doing the yes chants, how do you feel about that, and how will you move on forward?
I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna have to talk about like what I can do and what I cannot do, and so I don't know if that's. So one of the things that I do try to respect, because like I said, I appreciate the people I worked for before and respecting their intellectual property and that sort of thing, and so making sure that I don't contradict any of that, and I'd really. Like, the fans doing it is great, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do it.
Brian, something I appreciate about you.
Not that we're saying that is, I don't think that necessarily is their intellectual property.
No,
But if it were, then either way.
Yeah.
Something I appreciate about you is the fact that you kind of go against the grain in a lot of ways when it comes to like, you embrace like reading and you embrace like environmental stuff, and you kind of incorporate that, and you have incorporated that in your on-air persona and stuff like that. Going forward with AEW and stuff like that, is there something else that we can kind of expect from you that you bring from your life into this a little bit more? Maybe not that it wasn't authentic, but that more authentic for you being here and stuff.
No, I mean I just think, and I think this is a credit to Tony. I think everybody speaks more authentically here because you're allowed to be yourself more. And that's not a knock on the place that I worked before, but I think you see it in people, and you see everybody has. One of the things that I love about this is the artistic expression, and that's something that I've always loved about pro wrestling, is that you can be what you want to be, or you can be who you are, and I think pretending to be a different person. That's acting. Taking yourself and taking it up a notch, you actually learn a lot about yourself. I've learned so much about myself because of pro wrestling, and because of, so when I first started, or when I was in high school actually, I couldn't even read a book report in front of a class. Yeah. And now, through pro wrestling, I can sit here and talk with you guys, and I'm not really bothered about if I mess up or if I trip over my feet or if something happens, you know what I mean? And that's because of my experiences in this, from being myself. There's not a question anybody here could ask me that would make me nervous. Like, you could ask me about my sex life with my wife, and I'd just be like, well, I'm not going to answer that. Most of you married people with kids know how it is, you know what I mean? So, that sort of thing. Yeah. And pro wrestling has made me comfortable with that.
Brian, CM Punk brought up wrestling at Wrigley Field. Now, because we have an awful football stadium here, Soldier Field, we can never have a WrestleMania here. How about Wrigley Field in the summer, you versus CM Punk headlining?
Are you booking the buildings now? I didn't know Brian was booking the buildings.
Wrigley Field, Punk, Brian. Will it happen?
If you'd like to take over booking the buildings, I can step aside.
So I briefly took part in creative in WWE, and I will say this. I like just wrestling, right? I'll leave the business stuff and all that kind of stuff up to Tony.
I will say this: I would be remiss if I didn't mention I'm so fortunate to be accompanied and to have here in AEW working with us one of not only the greatest wrestlers in the ring, bell to bell of all time, but also one of the great minds. And he has so much to offer to us. And even if he doesn't want to mentor people and he wants to kick their asses, I think we're gonna all learn a lot from having him here. And he's one of the smartest people I know. So it's really nice to be here with you.
Oh, thank you.
Brian, obviously you wrestled back and forth with this decision. It was not an easy one. You're not one of the people who was like, I never want to go back there. I mean, you were happy, but you were happy there. You were going to probably be happy here. What went through your mind? What flipped the switch, so to speak, between the two, and about how far back did you kind of make the call in your head?
So I'd heard something, I don't know, over the past week or something, that one of the things that really turned Punk was the Brody Lee show. That was also one of the things that I saw it, and I mean, so many of us loved him so much, right? And so we saw it, we saw how special it was, and we saw, like, okay, we're gonna stop what we're normally doing and do that. And I thought, like, that was really special to me. But so that was when I really started kind of thinking about it, knowing that my contract was coming up. But the final decision, honestly, was just like, I started thinking about things, and WWE was so gracious with me as far as the offer that they gave me. They were going to let me go do some other stuff and outside, but there's just, I hate to say this, there's sometimes Vince and I have a great relationship, and I love him, I do. Sometimes he's overprotective of me, and I want to be able to push my limits. That's one of the things that I love about this, is like the physicality of what we do out there, and being able to push my limits and being able to do that here in a safe manner is one of the things that really drew me here. And then there's also, I just think, there's an excitement, you know what I mean? There's just an excitement. You see the crowd, I mean, I think you all see it. Probably we're all out there and you felt it, you know what I mean? And you felt how excited people are about this product, and it feels vibrant, and it makes you feel like, even just watching it through a TV screen in a trailer, and I'm sitting there going, God, this is awesome, right? Like, I want to be a part of this, right? And so that was, you know, that was it. Although it was, I don't know, I really battled back and forth, because there's a lot of people there that I consider family, that actually are legitimately my family, I guess, and you know, and people that I love there. So, you know, it was a really tough decision.
Brian, you came out here tonight, when you were running down the ramp, you could see your face and you could see every face on the crowd, and you could have held a mirror up, and it was exactly the same. The joy on your face, the joy on everybody else's face. This is another one of those landscape shifting moments that you are a part of tonight. We've had CM Punk coming out, and that changed everything. We have you coming out with Adam Cole. It's changing everything along with Ruby. How does it feel to be in this moment on this show in Chicago with this crowd? And what are you looking forward to doing with AEW? Is there a potential that you might be utilizing the Forbidden Door?
So, I don't know. That's a lot of stuff. So, remind me of what you just asked again.
So basically, in essence, how did it feel coming out in this crowd with this vibrancy and this excitement?
Yeah.
And then the Forbidden Door, you mentioned wanting to sort of test your limits. Is that something that you might be walking through?
Yes, but you know, we all know we're in a weird situation within the world. I mean, I would love to go wrestle in New Japan. Would love that. But with COVID being what it is right now, you know what I mean? I can't quarantine for 2 weeks. I can't, you know, to go do a couple shows in Japan. I just can't do it. I would love to wrestle in Mexico. I don't know if that's the safest thing in the world for me right now. You know what I mean? So for right now, I'm going to focus on AEW, and then go from there. But as far as how it felt, I mean, it felt great, right? Like it was. But I do want to say this. That is only possible because of what the people who started this company have built, right? Like there's other wrestling companies out there that have great talent besides WWE, like, you know, the other companies, and I didn't hear really anybody clamoring for me to go there. There's a reason for people clamoring for me to come here. And it's because of what they've already built before Punk got here, before I got here. People were already excited about it. And then like, oh, imagine if you add this person to this already fantastic mix. Like, that's what gives you chills, right?
Brian, any wrestling moves that in the past for some reason were banned that you may bring now here in AEW?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you that. I've got a devious mind that is thinking of devious things.
Sorry, last question here.
Brian, we tend to get caught up in semantics of all this stuff, ratings, key demo, viewership, all that. Tangibly, what do you believe the arrival of yourself, Adam Cole, and CM Punk can do for AEW as a company? Where can it take it?
I mean, honestly, Tony's the businessman. I could care less about the business, you know, like as far as the business end. I want him to make money so that he keeps doing this thing that is so much fun for me to do, right? And so what I want more than anything else out of all this, I don't know if you know this, I'm the richest man who's ever lived. Yeah, pretty much. I grew up without much, so in comparison, you know, I feel, so for, as far as that kind of stuff, I just feel so blessed to be able to step into this position where you have a crowd that just loves this product. And you saw it tonight, every match, they're just invested, you know? And so for me, it's not about like, oh, can we take it to this or can we take it to that? I would love to help Tony do that. I would love to help Tony do that. But my goal is to produce excellent professional wrestling that people can watch, because this is one of the things I think. This is one of the things I truly believe. You show excellent professional wrestling to anybody, and they will enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
Because excellent professional wrestling is fucking awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bryan.
Yeah, thank you guys, and thank you all for coming. I mean,
thanks, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you guys are great covering and all that kind of stuff.
I can't thank Bryan enough for his time and for doing this, and it's the beginning of a great journey, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Bryan.
Yeah, thank you, Tony, and I think we all owe Tony a huge debt of gratitude as well. No. It's so I will say this, because I have been a part of wrestling since 1999. There was a long period of time. I got fired. I was in a developmental system in. I got hired in 2000. Got fired in 2001, shortly after WCW folded, and there wasn't a lot of other places for people to work. And now there's another place that's legitimate competition, and I think that's great. And it wouldn't happen because, like, I couldn't do it, right? Punk couldn't do it on his own. Like, none of us could do it on our own. We needed somebody with a vision, with the right people, to build something like that up. So, like, as much as, you know, tonight, it's like, oh, yay, Bryan Danielson, whatever. But I think it's the vision of seeing something like this being possible, and then finding the right people, and also, like, the people, gosh, I mean, you can't credit enough the people who've been here since day one. And especially, like, the younger talent. Look at how much they've stepped up, and, like, you look at Darby tonight in that match with Punk, like, he's the man, right? And who would have thought that? Like, you know, like, who would have thought that 4 years ago? You know, nobody, you know, so.
4 years ago, I wouldn't have, I honestly wouldn't have, but you know, less than 2 years ago even, yeah, I would have believed it possible. And that's how far he's come, and it's how far these people have come, because we have all these young wrestlers, and it's crazy because when the pandemic started, I don't know if you could say that Darby was like a big wrestling star in that sense of the word, but he was making progress. I don't know if you could say Britt Baker was a big wrestling star in that sense of the word, but she was making progress. For Jungle Boy, for so many, Sammy Guevara, for so many people on this roster that are breaking through and have come so far, like in the pandemic, a lot of people really spread their wings and flew.